Ophtho Info back with another leaky video. So you think you're a surgeon? You think you're good at stitching up, suturing the human tissues together? Here's a quiz for you. Define a knot. A knot's one of a major component of being a surgeon. Define a knot for me. Sort of tough, right? I couldn't come up with a good definition. I Googled it. This is what I got on my favorite definition. I looked at it in a couple different places. My favorite definition was on Wikipedia, of course. And it was, let me see here. A knot is an intentional complication in cordage. A complication in cordage. Pretty broad, right? I thought for sure it'd have been something like, oh, it's when you tie the bows together on your shoelaces or something like that. You know, it's a complication. So that begs the question, what's a complication in cordage? What's an example? You're the surgeon on the other side of the screen here. Tell me what a complication is. One example. There's got to be a bunch, right? Also sort of difficult on the spot. Let me give you two primary complications that we use every day in surgery. One is the simple braid. Okay? Simple braid. Turns out if you go from 1 braid to 10 braids, you increase the pulling force required to close the loop 1,000 times. Can you believe that? Pretty cool. What's another element in creating friction for knots? What's another complication? Well, I call them U-turns, okay? They're technically called loops in knot theory, but knot theory is berserk. We're not going to get into all those mathematics and things that will confuse everybody. Let's keep it simple, stupid. All right, U-turns. So look here, this is a cross. If I just do a quick U-turn, looks more like a V. It's harder to cinch down. Check this out. Let's do a braid. Okay, there's a braid. When I pull, it flattens out. Let's get it back up here. Now let's do a U-turn. On top of that braid, we have two elements of two complications here, and it gets stuck. It is harder to cinch down here, okay? So that's pretty neat. Does this matter at all? It does. One big area where your knowledge of knot theory plays a role is in air knots. Let's go to the OR. Before we go to the OR, I forgot two things. Number one, my surgical cap. Number two, I want to show you an air knot with shoelace, and then we'll go to the suture, okay? So check it out. We're gonna keep it low budget as always on this channel. I just passed my suture around my leg, up on the other side here. Here's my needle tip. Here's my short end. I got my tail how I want it. I'm gonna throw my first complication for this knot, and that's a braid, okay? A beautiful braid there. Now I'm gonna throw my second complication, boom, U-turn. See the U-turn in the gray suture there? Now a third complication, getting real complex here, another braid. Bam, there's my square knot, okay? And this, as you can see, is going to be an air knot here. What's an air knot, for those of you who don't know? An air knot is a knot that has air underneath it, okay? Not real complicated there. So what do I do about this? Let's just see what happens with an air knot. As I pull, initially, the top loop will close before the bottom loop. That's just the nature of knots here, okay? I'm pulling against just that top braid. The braid moves pretty easily, and then bam, it hits another complication. Now my pulling force is fighting against not only that top braid, but a U-turn and another braid, okay? That pulling force is super high compared to just a single braid. In fact, it's way greater than the tensile strength of this suture. Theoretically, I can close this air knot. I can close this bottom loop by pulling here. But in real life, the tensile strength is not strong enough. Your suture's gonna break. You're screwed here. So what do you have to do? You gotta cut it and you gotta start over. Now, before we ever close that top loop, how can we salvage it? How can we salvage it? That's the question. And here, this is the trick. Humans figured out everything, man. Check this out. So I've got my air knot, okay? But before I close the top loop, I've got to get rid of one of these three elements of complications. The three elements are a braid, a U-turn, and another braid, okay? I can't get rid of the braids. You know, I can't untwist it here. I don't want to let go of anything. What I can do is get rid of the U-turn. How do I do that? I pull the short end pull the short end to the side. Now, a little caveat, shoelace behaves differently than suture does. Suture's a little bit more slick. It doesn't have quite as much friction, okay? So as you pull the short end to the side, what will happen is that U-turn will pop over. You'll see that normally this loop will be a little bit larger. The braids come together, they'll meet together, and then this pop, just like that. I don't know if you saw that little thing pop over there. Now, there's no U-turn in the white string, okay? I think you can appreciate that. No U-turn in the white string. And as I pull, this knot will be maintained. Oops. The braids will be maintained, and it will cinch down. And then you can, at the last second, pull down the long side and recreate the U-turn so that you again have 3 complications: a braid on top of a U-turn, followed by a 3rd braid, and you're now you've got a really strong knot. Let's check it out in the OR. So I've got a nice air knot here, okay? Instead of cinching this top loop down though and securing the air knot, I have to remove one of the elements of this knot. The only one I can remove is the U-turn. So to do that, I'm going to pull the short end off the side. The top loop pops around like that. The braids are now together. I can cinch the bottom loop together, and only then will I pull the long end, will secure also the top loop. Now I just lock the entire thing with another braid on top of that, and I'm done. Another episode of Microsurgery Pitfalls in the books. Hope you learned something. Catch you next time. Peace.